It's a whole lot of drama and allegations and speculation surrounding tonight's conversation with the ace metaphor, Keita and Kittie Rose, and I'm not really interested in all that part. I've heard a lot of the gossip. Oh, apparently this one was sleeping with that one, or people wasn't getting money. Listen, I'm not really concerned with any of that stuff. But what I will say is this: Kitty should not be on that show. And the longer Kitty stays on that show, it's only a matter of time before that whole show is tanked. And let me tell you why I say that. It's because of this clip I'm about to play right here.
You took a vow. You took vows. You stood before God or whatever it is you believe in and said that you were going to love this man in sickness and through health, for rich and for poor. You said that you committed whenever you took that vow. You committed to be there even in the hard times, even in the times where you were not fully emotionally fulfilled. You still took on that position to say that I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to communicate. I'm not going to breach the trust in this marriage. You lack marital integrity. And if you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person as well.
You see, this is a problem. It's all good when you're laughing and you're joking and you're giving pseudo advice, or you got your cultural cliches, and that's one thing. But what I have learned, and what Kitty is going to learn about a lot of what's going on with us right now, and these generations going on right now, what she's going to realize is people have a very, very low tolerance for godliness, for holiness, for Christianity. Really preaching and teaching the word and living and holding a biblical standard, people ain't got time for that. People are wholeheartedly rejecting that. Now, you can go up there and talk about going to therapy. You can diagnose everybody as a narcissist. You can talk about zodiac signs. You can talk about crystals. You can talk about the ancestors. You can talk about manifesting and, higher power. You can talk about all that spiritual-ish stuff. But when you really start talking about the word of God and really standing on that, people ain't got time for that. That clip right there is why I'm telling you. She's either going to get ran up off of that show, or that show's going to go down into the ground. Because we're living in times people don't want to be told the truth. They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to live up to a standard. And so when you come in there and say, hey, you were married, you took a vow, you can't break that, you can't do this, you can't, that you're out of order, you're wrong, you're trifling. People not trying to hear that. She's going to realize that her trying to take the word into that environment, it ain't going to work. You can't take the word into an environment where a woman is married, is having a side fling, and goes on the show and says, hey, can I keep my husband in the side fling? While the husband is in the audience. Somebody that would go and out themselves like that in public, on camera, and bring the spouse with them, they're not trying to hear about what the word of God says. And neither is the audience. And so what you're going to see, and you've already started to see, is, because this always happens, when people start to talk about how they stand on the word of God, this happens every single time. What happens is people start to, you trying to hold up a standard? You trying to say what's right and wrong? Let me see what you was doing 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me find some wrong in your life, because that's all it's about. People don't actually want to hear that. They don't want to hear right and wrong. They don't want to hear you out of order. They don't want to hear that. And so when someone comes along and they're talking like that, the first move is, let's try to discredit this person. Let's try to embarrass this person. Let's try to expose this person. Because we want to discredit them. Because if we can discredit them, then we can disregard the message. So, honestly, if I was Kittie, I'd get out now. Because it's only going to get worse. The more you start standing on what the word says, man, all them people that were liking you and were fans of yours and were consuming your content, all those people are going to flip and they're going to switch. Because at the end of the day, it's who are you to tell me and who you think you... Listen, nobody want to hear that. That is not an environment for the word of God. I'm not saying don't evangelize, but what I'm saying is just understand what you are walking yourself into. Either they're going to run you up out of there or you're going to wind up having to quit. Because that's the only way that's going to work.